Right guys, welcome back to another video. I have to apologise for the crazy lighting. The sun is currently trying to escape from behind the clouds. So, a few pickups, what I've been playing, and a little chat on a kind of epiphany that I had the other day. A realisation of what my focus now is with gaming and how I justify my kind of purchases, if that even has to be a thing, you know. Yeah, what validates the money that I'm spending on games, what I look for, what makes it worthwhile. Because I think it's changed a bit. So I'll talk about that shortly. But first, some pickups. The first one is Wipeout Omega Collection. This, of course, is a collection of 3 different Wipeout games, remastered and put on the PS4. The reason I got this is because there is a VR patch getting released within the next few weeks. Really excited for that. I cannot fucking wait to be inside a Wipeout ship's cockpit, speeding along. Jesus Christ, it's going to be amazing. There's been a few other futuristic races on PSVR, but they haven't been that brilliant. This is the daddy of futuristic races. It's going to be sweet. It's a free patch as well, free download, so that's really cool. Got this for 15 quid on the old eBay, and yeah, it's really nice, very, very smooth, high frames per second. Hopefully that will stay with the VR patch, I'm sure it will, to get that real feeling of speed. The original couple of Wipeout games, and maybe even the third one, for me was so fun because there was a tangible connection of between your controller, between the way you controlled the ship and the ship, because I don't know what it was, just the weight of the control. Maybe it was something to do with how severely you got punished for banging against the walls, you know, so that when you didn't, it felt amazing. But yeah, later Wipeout games haven't been quite as refined, I don't think. But I've played the first one on here, which was it that I started, 2048, and yeah, that was on the Vita, of course, originally, and there's a couple other games on there as well, HD Fury, and such. Anyway, yeah, basically to play it in VR, that's got to be amazing, come on. So yeah, looking forward to that. Now, I can't actually remember if I showed this in a previous pickup video and I was too lazy to go and check. So I'll show it again. It's Yooka-Laylee, of course made by the same guys who made Banjo and Kazooie. They wanted to make another one but they didn't have the rights to it, so they went through Kickstarter and got this crowdfunded to make essentially another Banjo Kazooie game. And yeah, it does feel a bit dated compared to modern platformers, but it's still a lot of fun. It's pretty decent. I've been enjoying it. Yeah, it's alright. Although I did get distracted from Yooka-Laylee by another platformer. Now anyone who's got PS Plus will know that you get some pretty damn good free games every month, and this month is one of the best I've seen so far since I've had a PSN account, PS Plus account, and it's you get the remaster of Ratchet and Clank, which is gorgeous. Now, I never played the original, so I'm happy to jump right in and play this remaster. They've done such a good job on it. It's beautiful. You know, the motion blur on the enemies, the colours, everything is just, it's really, really good looking. And yeah, as I said, never having played the original, it's all fresh to me. Now, my last video, I kind of I praised Knack for being a good looking game, and I did. I genuinely thought it was quite pretty as some of the later levels. But the Ratchet and Clank remake puts it to shame. It's gorgeous. So I've been playing that. One of the other games that came free this month on PS Plus was, of course, Bloodborne. And I really loved Dark Souls 1. Although I got halfway through and kind of stopped playing it, got distracted by something else. And when I tried to go back to it, I was rubbish at it. So I'm going to have to restart that game. But yeah, Bloodborne, really eager to try, but I'm trying to save that for when I've got a new TV, because you know, 4K HDR with that extra contrast and those deeper blacks, I think it will do it justice. My TV in the dark scenes, it's not a lot of detail and you can kind of see the backlight. I'm going to try and save those games that are a bit dark in tone, like Bloodborne, like Deus Ex. I'm saving those for the new telly, which will probably be this Black Friday, not last Black Friday when I pussied out. I'm waiting for those prices to go down even further. I mean, Jesus Christ. Those OLED TVs prices are still ridiculous. They've gone back up again, of course, since the Black Friday sale. They were on sale for like $1,250 or something. Now they've gone back up to $1,800. But they'll surely have new sets to sell at some point. So those sets, the OLEDs, the LG OLED 55-incher, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about if you've been following those developments. Those have got to come down in price, surely. I'm waiting for that to happen. I don't want to spend 1,200 quid on a telly, as nice as it is. But so yeah, I'm saving Bloodborne for that. But yeah, did get some more digital games, and that's kind of related to this epiphany that I've had. And it's led to me selling some more games from the old collection. I've now sold my American Sega CD collection, and there was some really collectible stuff in there that I was happy to have in the collection. There was Popful Mail, which is a kind of side-scrolling platformer RPG, and it is by all accounts a very cool game. I never got around to playing it on the original hardware, par for the course with a lot of my Mega CD and Mega Drive stuff. But I will be playing that on an emulator at some point in the future. It looks like a fantastic game and I want to play it. And the sun's gone behind a cloud. The lighting returns to normal. Yeah, but this epiphany that I had that led to a further sale of games and a re-evaluation of what it is I'm looking for value for money in gaming. And it's this. And it's a lot down to PSVR as well. That's prompted this kind of change in focus, and it's now that I feel like I've got value for money if I've had a fun experience, a memorable experience, a new experience, you know. And I keep using that E word because with VR it feels a little bit, it's something different to just gaming, you know. When you actually feel like you've been somewhere else, you actually go into a world and you can really immerse yourself and, you know, suspend your disbelief enough to really kind of feel you're sort of there, you know, you have that sense of presence. It's an experience. It's not just a game, you know. It's yeah, that's what it feels like. But because a lot of these games are coming out digital only, you know, I've been left to kind of with that choice. Am I going to miss out on all these games because they're not getting physical release, or am I just going to bite the bullet and buy digital games and go down that route? And I have done, and I've had some brilliant gaming experiences. Some of my all-time favourite games have been PSVR digital-only releases. So I just haven't ignored them because I want to have fun. And that shift in focus is that, yeah, I now kind of feel like I've got my money's worth if I've had that fun kind of new experience feeling, you know. And that's a shift away from a kind of focus that I used to have, which was getting your money's worth in terms of longevity. So I think one of the reasons that RPGs attracted me years ago was that you got so many hours out of them. You know, it's not just the money that you spent on the game, but it's the investment that you've put into a game world. You know, the time and the effort that you've put into immersing yourself in a game, you know, getting involved with it, actually putting the hours in. But I appreciated having that kind of those, you know, dozens of hours squeezed out of a game. An RPG gives you a ridiculous amount of playtime for your money and for your investment otherwise. But I've kind of realised something. Is that, you know, my gaming habits have changed, my life has changed. You know, when I was collecting all those RPGs and I had that kind of real focus on building this huge RPG collection and this retro collection that was going to last me for years, decades into the future, at that point I was single. I had a hell of a lot more alone time, shall we say, in which one can just spend hours immersed in an RPG. I don't really have that as much anymore. Obviously, being in a relationship is cool and I wouldn't change it for the world, but my gaming habits have had to change a little bit. And I don't think I really have realistically the time to go back and play all of these dozens of old RPGs. I'm sure are brilliant fun, but I feel like I have to come to the realisation that I'm not going to be able to fit them all in. You know, new games keep coming out all the time that I want to be playing as well. There's a whole range of other genres that I want to be playing as well. And obviously your social life, your work life, your partner, your relationship, you know, I don't know if I have time for RPGs anymore. not dozens of them anyway, and not to go back to several generations and play all the RPGs that I've kind of missed out on, that I wanted to play all of them. I don't know why that was. Well, I didn't know why it was. I enjoy the format of the game. I enjoy an RPG format, an epic adventure, and all the rest of it. I even enjoy grinding, you know, on a lot of them. But yeah, realistically, I just don't have the time for it, because every day that I spend playing some old retro RPG is a day I'm not spending playing PSVR or the other modern games that I've got, or any of the other hundreds of games. Basically, RPGs eat up your gaming life, and these massive, huge, long adventures. It's just not my focus anymore, and I think realistically I might not get round to them all. So I may have to be a little bit more realistic and a bit more discerning about which games I prioritise when I do, you know, delve into the retro catalogue. It's a lot easier to go back and play a platformer or a shooter or a racer or something like that, something you can pick up for a short amount of time and not have to commit to weeks and weeks of a single game kind of thing. So it's just that, yeah, my circumstances have changed and such. So yeah, so basically the epiphany is that now, instead of wanting to squeeze every last penny's value out of a game in terms of the length of time I can play it, it's more about the fun experience that I've had, a unique experience. And that's what a lot of the VR games have been giving me. So I've not regretted spending money on digital for that reason, because they've all given me a unique experience that I wouldn't otherwise have been able to get anywhere else in gaming. You know, RPGs are very similar. It's the thing. You know, my previous focus of, you know, these RPGs, they're all very similar in structure, really. You know, the JRPGs, at least, is what I like. You know, the turn-based combat. Sometimes there's live action, real-time combat as well, but they're all very similar in structure. So you're basically doing the same thing over and over again with a different story. That's certainly not the case in VR. Every game is a completely different, new, unique experience. You know, from Resident Evil 7 to some of the newer games I'm going to talk about in a sec. Yeah, so that's kind of my epiphany. I still would prefer to have these games on physical, because then, of course, when you finish them, you can trade them in against new purchases, of course. It's one of the main advantages of physical. You can use it to fund further purchases. I still would prefer that. I'm just saying that it softens the blow a bit not being able to do that, with you know, appreciating the value of those experiences and that fun that I've had. So it doesn't sting quite as badly as it might have done. But yeah, so this shift in focus, if you want to call it, has led me to sell even more retro stuff. So I mean, yeah, it's likely that the vast majority of the retro collection will be going. I thought it was just going to be the Mega Drive stuff, but yeah, the Mega CD stuff's gone now, and there's some Saturn stuff. I don't know if you can really effectively emulate Saturn though. Is that a thing? I've not looked into it much, but it's my understanding that, well, I haven't seen any Saturn emulators really, especially not good ones. Anybody tell me if there is? I can do some Googling, of course, but it's more fun to talk to people. I do this all the time on Facebook and on Twitter. I put out questions that I could easily Google, but it's more fun to talk. You know, I like to communicate with people about things that I think about. And have you thought about this? It's interesting to talk about. Let's talk about it. Let's think about it. Oh, just Google it. Fucking shut up. Anyway, the sun's back. Yeah, so some of the digital games that I've got recently are as follows. Well, obviously there was Mighty Number 9. That was also a free game on PS Plus this month. A Mega Man game again through Kickstarter. The original developers wanted to make another Mega Man, didn't have the license, got crowdfunded, and now we have Mighty Number 9. And it's alright. I have to admit, I never actually played the original Mega Mans, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but it's a fun little platformer, yeah. Not bad. We got the Amnesia collection. I think my missus downloaded that. I made the silly mistake of saying, oh yeah, go on PS Store, my PayPal's linked to it, get whatever games you like. There's a whole range of games now. I have no idea what they are, where they came from, but the missus has bought a few, so we've got the Amnesia collection. If anybody knows anything about these games, let me know. It looks kind of moody, kind of spooky games. It looks pretty nice, but I know nothing about it. Until Dawn. Did the missus get that? Oh, that's on PS Now. Ah, yes, I need to cancel my PS Now. I tried to do this. There's some kind of glitch. It wouldn't let me cancel my PS Now. And PlayStation are not easy to contact. They've got a Twitter, but the Twitter just keeps referring you back to the facts online, the FAQs. And the FAQs don't help. Anyway, so Until Dawn, that's looks quite cool. VRFC. There is now a football game for PSVR. It's called VRFC. And weirdly, your move controllers in your hands are your feet. So every time you move your hands, your foot moves at the same time. Is that a good demonstration of what I'm trying to get at? Like that, yeah. So wherever you move your hand, your foot kind of moves with it. So if you were able to master the controls, I'm sure this game could be pretty damn fun. Jesus Christ, the sun is getting crazy. Can I hide in the shadow? Is that better or worse? I don't know. Let's have a look. Extreme contrast! Let's try and move over here a little bit. Yeah, so, VRFC. If one can master the controls, I'm sure this is going to be a fun game, but it's very fiddly controls. It's difficult to master. I have not done so yet. Yeah, very awkward. But has the potential. I mean, it's is it 3 versus 3? Maybe even 4 versus 4. I think it might be 4v4. Yeah, with a computer operated goalie. So to have a football game in VR, man. When this was first talked about, people were speculating: are you supposed to connect the move controllers to your feet? What do you do? No, the hands are your feet. But yeah, I really want to get good at that. I really want to be able to play that well, as the developers have intended it to be played, because I bet that's really cool when you get the hang of it. Ultra Wings. I finally bought Ultra Wings. That has intrigued me for a long time. I held off on it because I didn't want to pay the full price. It went down in price, so I got it on sale. And it's basically a flight sim in a kind of cartoony kind of world. Yeah, it's really cool actually. It's really a fun little game. Yeah, quite chilled. Just navigating your helicopter or plane, whatever it is. I think it's a plane, isn't it? Yeah. Ultra Wings. Helicopters don't have wings. What the fuck am I talking about? Navigating your plane through, targets and doing landing tricks and all this other stuff. It's a fun little game. And yeah, I jumped on and bought that after having this little mini epiphany about gaming. It's like, what am I worried about? I had fun. I spent, 10 quid on something. I had several hours of real good fun with it, and it's still there for me to have more fun with it in the future. That's not a waste of money. I enjoyed my time with it. You might not get 150 hours out of something, but who cares? Does that matter? If you had 10 hours of awesome fun, move on to another thing of awesome fun. It's worth it, Life is short. If you spend it happy, you've won. That's winning. But still would prefer to have them on physical so that I can offset future purchases against these things. But this is how gaming is at the minute, yeah. So anyway, what else we got? So Ultra Wings, Rangi. I also bought Rangi. Now this is an African developed game, a VR game, that originally came out on mobile VR, I believe. It's now on PSVR, and it's basically a kind of puzzle game. It has sort of echoes of Portal a little bit, only in the sense that you kind of go around these environments and you have to kind of shift objects around to kind of complete circuits and things like that. So it's logic puzzles, and yeah, it's fun to do that. And it's got really nice atmospheric music there. That was only about 5 quid or something. It's pretty cheap. But Rangi, yeah, that's a really cool game. I can recommend that if you're into kind of puzzle games. But there is another game coming down the line, not too long from now, which is a lot more similar to Portal, and that's called Chromagun. And that was, when you see Chromagun, that was clearly inspired by Portal. Rangi isn't as similar, but it has that puzzle element to it. Completing circuits, looking for solutions in these, and it's a puzzle game. It's good. Rangi, I liked it. The Inner World, no idea. Missy's got that. Demetrios, no idea. Missy's got that. What else have I been playing lately? Well, gotta say, I'm still playing Sprint Vector. I want to do some VR videos. I want to do some VR videos showing the footage of the game, what I'm seeing through the headset, and also a little insert showing me flailing around in my room with the headset on. I want you to see kind of, you know, how ridiculous you look when you're playing VR. I'm sure you already know, but it's just fun to watch. I'm going to try and do some of that, some picture-in-picture kind of videos. Require some editing, some effort. Jesus Christ, effort! Imagine that. But is that all the games I've been playing lately? Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, so that's it really. Yeah, so having a lot of fun with PSVR still, and holding off on those dark games like Bloodborne for the new telly. If anybody's played Bloodborne or any of the kind of dark, shadowy games on an old LCD and a HDR, you can tell me if there's a significant difference. Tell me if it's actually worth waiting. You know, I've got plenty to be getting on with. There's not a problem. But yeah. So that's about it. Yeah, I'm shifting my focus because I don't realistically think I'm gonna have time to play this huge collection of old games that I've amassed. So holding on to the original copies of them is pointless. If I do choose to go back to one of those old RPGs, which I haven't been doing for years, I have not been doing that. So what makes me think in the future going forward, as games and tech gets even better and better and better, what makes me think I'm going to be any more inclined to go back to the old RPGs with better and better stuff coming out all the time? It's not realistic. So this is why the focus, it's consolidated basically. This is a consolidation of my decision to clear out the retro collection. But yeah, tell me guys if you know of any Saturn emulators, because if there isn't, I'm keeping the Saturn collection. That's basically the rule at the minute. If I can emulate it effectively, I'm selling it. If not, I'm keeping it. Although having said that, I know I could download original Xbox games onto a hard drive and play ripped versions of those games, but I think I'm keeping that collection for the time being. Yeah, well, there's no reason for me to sell it at the minute. You know, I'm not going to make any profit on it. You know, those games are still really cheap. Whether they will go up or not in the future, who knows? That's not the main issue. The main issue is I can't be arsed to go download all those games and put them on a hard drive and sort all that out. It just sounds like a lot of effort. So I'm keeping the original Xbox collection, of which there is about 350 games. So if I ever got around to selling that, that is a mission and a half. But yeah, guys, tell me if you've had any similar kind of gaming epiphanies, your shifts in focus or anything like that. Video response is welcome. We don't do that anymore. Nobody does video responses. No, it helps that didn't help that they took away the actual video response mechanism where you had the videos, actually the icons underneath the video you're responding to. That was cool, nice social element. Or YouTube's trying to kill the social element, I don't know why. But yeah, video responses, guys. Tell me about your gaming epiphanies. If you made it this far, thanks. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.